Greetings. Coach T here, doing my walk and talk real quick. Hopefully this one's not long at all, but we shall see. Reading still Genesis. I'm still reading about the life of Israel and his offsprings. Genesis 35. We talked about where Rachel, which is Israel, true love, passes and having baby Benjamin, right? Which Jacob of Israel called Benjamin. Now, why am I starting with 35? We're going to jump to 37, Genesis 37, because sometimes we just don't know what possibly we have to go through to get what God has for us. I'm not going to get to what God has for us, but I'm going to go through some of the struggle that we have to go through. So we don't know what all we have to go through to get what God has for us. Can you walk down this memory lane with me? Imagine you being one of 12 siblings. They're all boys. You're not the oldest, and you're probably one of the last. Not the last either, not the youngest, right? And in between that is competition every day between one, each other, two, love for your mothers, and three, love for your daddy, your father. Now, since we all got different mothers, then that's the competition itself. The women probably competing for the love of the one man that they all have the baby back, Jacob, which is Israel. And then you look at the bigger picture that, hey, who's slaughtering the most food? Because everything gets competition after that. Who's herding the best herd? Who's overseeing the best? Who does this the best? So you have all these potential concerns and issues that you're competing with on a daily basis. Now, the sexy part about it is, you know right now that it's just y'all. Y'all are the ones in charge, all 12 of you. And you are rule over everything else that come around you because of your stance. Well, it was that way until you done crossed over and went back to Canaan. You meet your long lost uncle that you haven't met, Esau. So now as you were up there hanging out with a new place because you left where you was from and you moved on back to Canaan, and then your father and his brother outgrow each other, so you got to split again and move around and make more room and come to a new land. Now you back the kingpin again, all right? So I skirt past the part about when you were probably not the kingpin, because Esau and his kids was. However, your mom passed, having a baby called Benoni, that she called Benoni. But Jacob called him Benjamin. Now after this happens, the freaky part about it is, you're the only one out of 12 siblings, 11 siblings, 1 out of 12 to have a mom that has passed. So what kind of burden that may be on you? No longer do you have to compete with Benjamin for your mom's attention, because Benjamin don't even have a mom that birthed him, raising him, right? So now you got to be big brother to Benjamin, and you have to figure out how to console him and tell him stories about someone once your first true love, your mom, right? Your first love. This is me just trying to go down memory lane to see, wow, how can I feel if I had 11 siblings and my mom, we got different moms, and my mom is the first one to pass. And my mom is the one that my daddy truly loved. Now I gotta see my daddy go through a stage. Let's talk about that. My dad, when my grandfather was passing, my daddy probably lost at least 4 to 6 years off his life. At least 4 to 6 years. I'm being modest by saying 6. He was dying with my grandfather in the hospital. He was dying with my grandfather as he ran around. He really was hurting. And when my grandfather finally did cross that threshold to passing over from this land to another land, to another entity, spirit went ahead and gave up. Then, and when I say gave up to God, I would say that my daddy was still in the funk. And I'm the one who had to shake my daddy out of that funk when his father passed. He was his best friend. He loved his father. And he did everything he can do to try and make his father proud. But he was in the funk. So I can only imagine how Jacob felt when his first love, his wife, his true love, the one he had to wait 14 years to marry, died, Rachel. I bet you that hurt hard and bad. Now, Jacob had a son named Joseph from Rachel, in which Joseph was gifted and talented. So what I'm gonna do right now, we're gonna talk about that on another clip. That was a little bit of history of that piece. So now let's talk about Israel having Rachel's son, Joseph. Joseph is from Israel, first and true love. He waited 14 years to get this lady. He got cheated and had to marry the sister Leah, which is not as pleasing as the eye as Rachel, right? He got cheated. He had to lay with a woman that he didn't want to lay with, but because their father decided to cheat him, Laban decided to cheat Jacob, it took him 14 years to get the woman he truly loved. And then it took him another 6 or 7 years to get away. I know at least 20 years to get him to go off and leave Laban and try and find his own path with his crops, with his flock. All right, so let's talk about Joseph. Joseph lost his mom. He got a little brother that caused his mom to pass. You know how we be as men and as people. We get mad at folks that we think done us wrong. We think that the person that came ain't had nothing to do with what happened to the person that left. But we find a reason to be distraught and aggravated and frustrated. Here I have 11 siblings that all have moms. But I mean, well, I should say 10 siblings that have moms, and me and my brother don't have a sibling. I'm hoping right about that, all right? Y'all can fact check that. But it was 12 total. Now, you have this good opportunity. So now you have the opportunity to be a big brother, be loving and caring, or you have the opportunity to be a blamer and always criticizing and always have resentment towards your little brother based off what happened when Rachel had him and she passed. So, nonetheless, he moved on in life, grew up, and started having these dreams. So started having these dreams about, hey, I'm gonna be a leader and you 11 gonna follow me. Damn, you told that to your brothers and they got mad about it. You said it what the dream was and they interpreted it as you're gonna be rule over them. All right, got it, you dreamer. Then you go as far as we don't know why he's sharing these dreams, guys. Nobody know why he's sharing these dreams, but he is. So now he goes as far as to tell his father and his mom and his brothers about the next dream. Hey, I dreamed that the sun and the moon and 11 stars bow down before me. Wow. All right. I'm not an interpreter. When I read it, I didn't know what it meant. But hell, I guess the brothers and sisters and their brothers knew what it meant, the daddy knew what it meant, and the mama knew what it meant. Because Jacob said, whoa, buddy, you getting a little too big for your britches. Now you telling me and mom gonna bow down to you as well? Oh, wow. So this dreamer was a dreamer, and he shared his dreams. Now, so many times in our lives, we decide to not share things with other people based off situations similar to this. I don't know if the Bible's saying don't do that. I don't know if the Bible's saying do it. For me, I feel like when you share things with people that you love and trust, you're confiding in them and you're trying to grow. Now, is that the best decision every time? Probably not, as we can see in this story. However, it is a decision. We don't know what's a good decision or a bad decision until you make one. Then we have to figure out from there. I always tell folks there's no such thing as a bad decision. We find out is maybe one of the best decisions. And that best decision that ain't the best will lead you in places where you don't want to be. So Joseph told his dreams to his family members. In return, his brothers them got jealous because Israel made him a beautiful coat. When Israel made a beautiful coat for him, that was full of color and embroidery, what have you, however you want to describe it, just something very elaborate and beautiful. Then the brothers took that coat from him, put him in a pit, and left him to either die or then thought about it and said, hey, Reuben said, hey, let's not hurt him. Let's not cause harm to him. Let's put him away for a little while. Some of that nature, right? So Reuben went back to try and buy time to go tell Jacob where they at, and return them. Then all of a sudden, some other folk come over that don't mind buying slaves. Don't want to call them out by name because I just read this and I can't remember off the top of my head. But they came and bought them for 20 pieces of silver. Gave 20 pieces of silver, they sold their brother off. Then they ripped that coat off him, killed the kid, a goat, dipped the jacket in the blood, and then told their daddy that he was killed by a beast, right? And said, I don't know if this is coat or not. You could tell us. And he said, yes, it is. So guys, I can only imagine after he got sold to these folks, they sold him to some other people that belong to Pharaoh. And what I want to talk about right now is the betrayal that Joseph probably felt from one, his mama passing, his brother being born. Two, he's telling his stories and his dreams to his family members, and they all feeling some type of way about it. And three, now he got sold into slavery just for being who he were, honest, straightforward, and giving out information to people he loved and trusts. So many times we are in a place where we're doing that. So what I understand, this is my reflection part of what I read today. We're all in different places in life. We all want to be loving and trusting. And some of us born with an evil spirit to not be loving and trusting. Some of us have discernment to know who to love and trust. And some of us just confused about life as a fool, and we're just trying to figure it out on a daily basis. For those who foolish about life and don't understand, and those who think they know it all, and those who got great discernment right now, and those who are still trying to figure it out, all I ask you to do is start reading your Bible a little bit more, start praying a little bit more, because what's going to happen. In order for God to put us in a place where we can actually receive everything he has, in a proper position to receive it, then you have to go through some things. You may have to go through a loved one like your mom passing. You may have to go through a loved one like your brother born that caused or was part of the situation that caused your mom to pass. You may have to go after your brothers that you share your dreams with, and then they decide to laugh and mock you and humiliate you and then sell you off into slavery. You may have to go off into being sold from one slave crew to another slave crew to another slave crew. You never know what your course will be. But you do got to go through some things to get what God has for you. And once you go through them things a couple times and a few things, and you stay humble, and you stay prayed up, and you stay knowing who's in charge, then guess what's going to happen? Things going to work out the way it should work out, that God aligned. You got freedom of choice. You always can choose your poison. You can continue down the path of blaming everyone else, or you can continue down the path of saying, hey, it is what it is. You continue down the path and second guessing your actions and what you did and what the result come from it. Or you can say, you know what? That had to happen for me to figure it out. Right now, true story. I have tenants that have been staying in my house for quite a while that has not been paying rent. And then all of a sudden, when I decided to evict them, now they got excuses after excuses. But when they called and told me they didn't have the money, I chose not to reprimand them. I chose not to tell them what they need to do, tell them to get out, move on, or do anything. I chose to say, okay, well, pay what you can, and we'll work it out. And I moved on. Now, when I ask you to leave, now you have all these extra communications. Now you're doing this and you're doing that. But it's this many months went past, and I've been paying bills for you to live in your house, and my account is suffering, my family is suffering, but you don't care about that all the time while it's going on. You're just ducking your head in the sand like an ostrich, like it ain't happening. Damage is still being done while you ducked off. You just don't feel the wrath until the eviction happened. Now you feel the wrath. Now you got the embarrassment of eviction. Now you got to figure out where you're going to live. And now you got to figure out who else going to take you with eviction filed on your record. I have to do what I have to do to defend and protect my family. I hate doing evictions. I hate putting you. That's why I let you go so long without paying. And I know I went way too long because I did something that hurt me and my family in protecting you and my feelings. You and my feelings. Because I don't want to hurt people. But sometimes people hurt themselves and then they want to blame other folks for what happened to them. Again, Joseph didn't do anything wrong, in my opinion. He trusted the people that he's supposed to trust. He shared his vision with the people he thinks he's supposed to share it with. It just didn't work out for him at the end, on that end. But later on, you get what God had for you. All right, guys, it's a lot longer than I expected. I did have some breaks in there. So maybe you hear this section, that section, whichever section you hear. Hopefully it make you listen to the whole thing. I'm working on this. I'm going to get better at this. I didn't mean to do this today. I really came out here just give me a couple laps in and then go ahead and do some work. But when the word hit, the feeling hit, and I get touched with something saying, hey, you may want to share this story. Hey, this is an opportunity for you to practice delivering some kind of message or delivering a story in a story format. That's what I'm leading up to. That's what I'm leading up to. So I hope this feel you. If you like it, share it. So I just finished talking about Genesis 35 and Genesis 37. I talked about how Joseph has been, in my opinion, going through a lot in these few chapters, these 2 chapters. And you, after hearing my story, I hope I can get you to go and read your Bible, Genesis 35 and Genesis 37, to see if it relates. You're more than welcome to read before and after those chapters because of the whole chapters of the whole book of the Genesis. But at the end of the day, we don't have a lot of time all the time. And so I'm trying to break this into little small chunks. These are the stories that I gave. I did give a small reflection at the end. I hope that it resonates well with whomever. The only thing I ask you to do is like it, subscribe to my channel, and send it on. For those who want to know more about me, please continue to tune in and hear me, or go through my Investing Now 2021 YouTube channel. It's a lot of information. You're more than welcome to join my Why Wait to Be Great Gold Overachiever Facebook community. All right, take care. Greetings, greetings, greetings. Coach T here with Why Wait to Be Great, Invest Now and Grow Your Future. For those who keep asking me about real estate, real estate is always going to be a love of my life because that is my retirement strategy. That is my way of securing my grandkids' future. So I know a couple people calling me and checking on me, and I know a lot of people tune in to Why Wait to Be Great, Investing Now, 5-Figure Formula, blog, brotherhood, leadership, opportunity, and growth, and say, hey, dude, you got a lot going on. And I want to tell you are exactly right, I do. The lot that I have going on is I'm not set to be one type of person. I do have different names for all the different persons I decide to position myself in. Everything I move on is something that's moved inside of me and pushed inside of me to come out. And I don't believe in dying with your song left in you. Just like a musician make probably an artist that sings probably over 10,000 songs. I don't know, millions of songs. I don't know how many songs they sing. I ain't no artist. But I'm sure they make a lot of different material. And some hit well, some don't. Some at the right avenue they want to go, and some don't. They may try different genres, right? I don't know. That's what they do. So me, I have a lot inside of me. I am streamlining it, and I am all aligned with everything I'm doing. mostly everything that I do is about personal growth and development. No matter what I'm doing, it's all dealing with challenge yourself to be your best and not waiting to be great. So I want to challenge you now to do the same thing. Don't wait to be great. Subscribe to my Why Wait to Be Great community on Facebook, Goal Overachievers. Subscribe to my YouTube channel, Investing Now 2021. And then, hey, males, if you want a safe space to talk to and have communications with and have trainings with about business, brotherhood, leadership, opportunity, and growth, then please join blog community as well. Guys, 5-figure formula is still there. Am I posting it a lot? No, but you know what? Anybody want to come run it and start working it, get with me, and you can, but it's still there. I'm just not focusing on wholesaling right now. I'm more or less focused on personal growth and development, as in being gentleman, as in being embodied, as in being a better man for this world, and training and mentoring kids and students to do the same, to teach them leadership skills through ROTC, as well as help me to brush up on mine, as well as helping with financial literacy and other things. But at all times, real estate is always in a play, and real estate will always be in play, because real estate is good business. Land is good business. Acquiring land is good business. All right, guys, I hope that makes sense. Definitely subscribe and love and tap all my content and share it with people that you think just be beneficiary to. All right, I just want to give you a little slight introduction about what's going on with me. The next quarter, next section of my life is motivational speaking or motivational teaching. Now, honestly, I should say teaching, because I want to teach motivation. And I want people to be out there inspired to go teach it to other people. All right, and I'm looking at doing it through the art of storytelling. Right, so John Weiss, it's a book that I picked up, The Art of Storytelling, and that's who I'm referencing a lot. And John Maxwell with my personal growth and development, as well as Jim Rohn, Darren Hardy, Dr. Wayne Dyer, and many more people. Brian Tracy, that all I done researched and studied over the many moons. So, hope this makes sense to y'all. A slight introduction about some of the stuff that you can look forward to and what's going on and bringing the past to the present.